You're listening to Healing Voices Project, where we share stories and the latest information from people who fight addiction every day. I'm Mike Torville, your host and author of Voices from the Fallen. Thank you for listening, for following, and most of all, for sharing with people you care about. Make your voice count too. Hello everybody, Mike Torville here from Healing Voices Project. We're on location here at the Michael J. Diaz Foundation, and more specifically at Christian and Brian's house, one of the several homes that the Michael J. Diaz Foundation operates. And we have Karen Blanchard, John Shea, Adam Bartlett, all who want to share a little bit about Michael J. Diaz Foundation, their mission, their job, what they do, and there's so much more. And we also had Adam as a guest. We had John as a guest who shared their stories, and great having you guys back again. And Karen, thanks again for joining us here today. So we have lots to talk about, and we're just going to pass this around a little bit because each of you can talk a little bit about the foundation, Michael's house, and what you do here. So let's start with Karen. All right.
Thank you. Michael J. Diaz Foundation, grassroots organization, started about 11 years ago. Born out of tragedy, we lost Michael J. Diaz to addiction, and his family decided to make something come out of all the tragedy. And their mission here at the Michael J. Diaz Foundation is to aid and educate individuals on substance use disorders and help those who are in recovery. We are a nonprofit organization, a 501c3, and we are here to help those who are in recovery.
And how many houses do you have there?
We have 3 houses right now, and we have up to 44 individuals that can be housed at these houses. And
all in Springfield?
All in Springfield currently, yes, we are. And it all started with Michael's house, and then Sean's place, and now we have Christian and Brian's house.
And is it just for men?
Just for men, yes.
At the time?
At the time, yes,
Any
right
plans
now.
for women?
Yeah, we do. We do have plans for a woman's house. We're in the early stages of planning this, but we feel that we're in a good, financially stable position, that we're exploring that and seeing, because we've been told there's a need in the community for a woman's house, and Adam can talk about this more, but we really just feel this is the time to maybe make this happen, and so we're pretty excited about that.
And what is your role here, Karen?
Okay, my role as the executive director, I help with the grant writing, the fundraising, and the administrative aspects of the foundation. And it's pretty exciting. I love doing this type of work, and it's very gratifying to be able to find the resources so we can continue to fulfill our mission.
Yeah, you've done a good job because it's been growing.
Thank you. Yes, it really has been. And that's all in part with our social media. That's really expanded since I've started 2.5 years ago, and with our Facebook and Instagram. And of course, we encourage people to like us on Instagram and Facebook.
What is the website?
mdiazfoundation.org. We're in the process of maybe redoing it, but there's still a lot of information on it right now. And again, we encourage people to check it out and see what we have to offer.
Great. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Karen. Appreciate that very much. And also we have Adam Bartlett here. Adam, it's all yours.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. So as Karen was saying, we are a grassroots organization, and we're different than the typical sober house, and I'm not knocking other sober houses, but we're more involved on a daily basis. Myself and John are both in recovery. You know, I'm a graduate of Michael's house. I actually graduated there, but a big thing for me that sold me on this foundation was when I got there, I was maybe there a week, and it was a Monday night, and the board members came in, and they brought food, home-cooked food, and then they said, "You're new." And I'm like, "Yep." And they grabbed me, and they asked me to tell them my story. And I'm like, well, how much time do you have? You know, but I couldn't believe it that they actually sat there and wanted to know who I was and what had happened.
Genuinely cared.
Exactly. And that for me sold me on this foundation and how much they actually care. You know, there was a director at the time who would work with us on a daily basis if we needed something. Like, a lot of guys come in here and they don't even have clothes. They're coming from jail, they're coming from living on the streets, and then they went to treatment, and then we took them in. So it's starting them off with just essentials like underwear, socks, health and beauty stuff so they can shower, you know. And so when they come here, we have a lot of people that donate these kind of things. So which makes us more unique because we make sure when the guys walk in, they have everything they need. You know, we got a great grant from the DA's office last year, and we used that. Some of it we used to buy like Uber cards so they could go to their appointments, you know, because they come in, they have no money, no license.
And no way to get anywhere.
Exactly. So we give them those, and then they can set up appointments, and they can get to the appointments they need to. You know, our big thing here is a 12-step fellowship. And so the guys come in and they work a program, they get involved, they get a sponsor, they start working on steps, and they give back. You know, and you can see the growth in guys. Like we just, our Facebook today, we had Feel Good Friday. One of our guys just celebrated a year. And that's what drives us to come back to work every day. You know, seeing guys' success and growing from like not even be able to like move around in the beginning. And I mean that physically. Some of these guys are so beaten down to they're just now their heads up straight. They're looking you in the eyes and they're talking to like a man in recovery. And it's amazing to see it, you know.
Complete transformation.
Absolutely. And you just see them from the beginning. It's like kind of watching a child grow. And then they just get bigger and bigger. Like I have 2 of my own children, but I say I have 46 because there's 44 guys. So basically I have 46 children, you know.
Yeah.
But I love these guys to death. I love watching them grow. And like I said, since I went through these homes, it holds a spot in my heart. You know, they did everything they said they were going to do to help. I mean, but the thing is, we give them the tools, they just have to use them.
And could you have seen when you first came here years ago that you'd be doing the job you're doing?
No.
And
I'm not going to lie, no.
all right. So there is hope for others who come in here too and say, well, I don't know what's going to come of my journey here, but you never know, and you're a good example of that.
Right, right.
Obviously. And what is your role exactly? What occupies your day?
So I am the executive director of operations. I oversee the daily everything to do with the houses, whether it's you know, working with the guys with sponsorship, you know, making sure that the meetings are set up, you know, making sure the guys clean the house when they're supposed to, making sure that basically everything that runs this house on a daily basis, I have to be in charge. And so it's like a jack of all trades. You know what I mean? It's checking the fire alarms, making sure they're good, making sure all the equipment's running properly in the house, stoves, refrigerators, all that kind of stuff. And then a lot of times it's just sitting with the guys and having a conversation, you know, about what's going on in their lives. Because again, John and I are in recovery. So if they, let's say they just want to come in and sit and talk and chop it up, we do that. And it's nice because you're watching them and sometimes they're afraid to say things to other people, but they'll tell us. You know, and it's good because we can give them that advice because we've been there.
And they trust you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And now this is quite different from your earlier occupation.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
was?
I was a police officer for 10 years. Yes.
And
Yeah.
then things went wrong. You ended up in jail.
Yes.
And I'll just mention this too, because if you're interested, Adam has a full story that can be seen on the podcast too. I mean, you get in depth into your history, and I recommend watching your story because it's pretty inspirational. And it's an unexpected path, right?
Yes.
To say the least.
Yes.
But what you're doing now, and I know when you were younger, you said you wanted to help people by being a police officer, but never thought you'd be helping people the way you are now.
Right.
But at least you're still doing what you really wanted to do as a child, which is amazing.
This is where my road led me to my journey, and I believe firmly that God put me here for a reason, and I love it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've had days, I'm not going to lie, where I've sat in that parking lot and like, I'm not going to work, I'm going home. I just can't do it. And then you see the success, and you see the guys that are going, and you're like, that's what drives you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And some of the things these guys do or say, I could write a book. Yes. And I'll laugh a lot, and then I just look at them like, you know, I've been there before, right? You know, so we get it. And, you know, a lot of times you call the guys out and they understand. Maybe not right away, but they'll come back and they'll say, hey, I understand why you said that or did that. Yeah. You know, and it's growth. And we get to see that every day.
Yeah, that's great.
So.
Well, that's fantastic. And also, we have John Shea.
Yes.
John, thanks for coming on again, because you've been on the program and you talked about your story. Again, I would recommend listening to John's story, which is a full episode on a program. But tell us about what you do here.
So like Adam, my position is assistant director of operations. So I'm involved with the guys mainly, and I help a lot with like you said, it's the program is we've got it kind of hammered out like a path for the guys to achieve long-term sobriety. That's the main goal for all the guys in this house. And like Adam and I, we're both in recovery, so we kind of know like what works, the things that will get somebody there. And we know what doesn't work. So, part of our job is to keep guys accountable. And when they start to stray from the path, we try to gently nudge them back on the path. And a lot of times they don't want to be gently nudged. So it's not always the gentle, softer way doesn't always work. Not with people, that come to the houses that are in recovery that need it. So part of our job is to do that and to be there. And, it's easier for us to identify with the guys because we've been there. So it's, sometimes we got to remind them like I'm in recovery too. I've been there.
Me, I know what you're talking about.
I know. Yeah, you
See
can't.
right through you.
Yeah, you can't be a BSer. Yeah. And it's been very fulfilling for me. I've only been here for maybe 7 months or so, 6 or 7 months, and it's been very fulfilling just to see success on a daily basis. You get to see it. It's not always a success, but it's a very high win rate.
And successes keep you going.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do this for me to stay sober and for me to recover and to have a fulfilling life.
And
it gives me a purpose.
That impact on other people.
Yeah. It's a huge part of my life, my recovery today. So I'm really glad to be a part of it. And
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, and I appreciate you all coming on to talk about the program here. I recommend visiting the website Healing Voices Project to hear Adam's story, to hear John's story. There's a lot more to it, but appreciate and respect the work they're doing here at Michael's house and Michael J. Diaz Foundation, which is mdiazfoundation.org. And thank you, Karen, thank you, John, and thank you, Adam. And we'll all be seeing you soon. Thanks.